Shields up, Ironbreakers, and welcome back to another episode of Kast. I'm here once again with FightinCowboy, and we are going to be doing a spoiler cast. That means that nothing is off the table when it comes to this particular episode. We understand that it is still fairly early, very close to the release of the game, and I'm going to be doing my live streams. Cowboy's going to be doing his live streams, his Let's Plays, all of that stuff. So if you are somebody that does not want to get spoiled, you should not be watching or listening to this, because we're not holding back at all. We're going to reveal everything that we know, and Cowboy knows way more than me at this point because he's got more hours, so it is what it is, but...
Arkfeld is just like me, for real. I can finally say it. Put the fries in the bag, Nada. We got this. Come on, let's go.
So this is apparently...
I got work to do.
So in the previous podcast, you might remember Cowboy said something about a joke that was posted in the review Discord, and this was the joke. Arkfeld's just like me, for real. And
this is okay, man. Put the fries in the bag. I gotta turn them into a shoe.
It doesn't. It's not gonna make sense to a lot of you guys, but once you finish the story of the game, it will.
I mean, he did grow on me as a character, but there was a lot of that. He's just like me. He's just like, shut the fuck up, bro. You're watching him kill a monster right now. Like,
so disrespectful. You're so disrespectful towards Nata, bro. Nata suffered, like man. Nata suffered. He didn't want Arkfeld to die. Okay, it's that simple.
He's like watching it molest other monsters. He's just trying to survive. Like, no, he's brutally ripping the life out of it, my guy. But he's trying to. He's literally leaving their desecrated bodies on the ground. It's not survival anymore.
We're like so off topic from the get-go, because nobody understands anything that we're talking about.
I had to get it out, man. I had to get it out.
But yeah, man. So let's get into spoilerific discussion, I guess. What was your favorite monster? Did you even form that opinion yet?
I did, and it's very disappointing.
Really?
The final boss is my favorite monster.
Oh man. Okay, so let me tell you guys. Number one, game has 29 monsters, which means I am eating crow. My prediction was around 40. I predicted around 40 because I expected it to have more monsters than World. Turns out we have one less monster than World. And out of those 29 monsters, one of them you only get to fight once in the release version of the game, which is the final boss. It's called Zoshia. Zoshia. And you want to know another funny thing about Zoshia, since we're starting right off on the final boss, which is insane. When we got to Zoshia, it almost looked like it was mammoth shaped. The silhouette, when you see it the first time, you didn't
really know what it was going to be when it came out.
You didn't know what it was going to be, but I was like, that almost looked. Is that Gammoth? Because there are going to be so many people that are going to be thinking it's Gammoth in the end, that it's not.
Dude, the best. I was talking to Super Rad in the Discord, and he's like, "Hey, when we're fighting Arkfeld, what are those things? They look like that. What's that fucking bird wyvern? The one that
Sacred.
Macaw." He's like, "Are those
sacred?"
No, not that. He's like, "Are those great macaws?" And I'm like, "Bro, they're secrets."
They're secrets, yeah.
I'm like, they're literally says guardian secret. You get feathers from killing them. He's like, oh. You thought they were great macaws? He's like, I don't know, man. I wasn't paying attention.
Oh man.
But no, Zoshia, bro, I just want to glaze Zoshia for a second. What a cool fucking boss. You know, because it reminds me a lot of God, how do I not remember his name? Who was the homie in World that we fought that comes out of the rocks?
That's not World, it's Iceborne, and it's Shar Ishvalda.
Iceborne. Yeah, big Shar Ishvalda vibes. You know, it starts off though, and you have this like very like ancient looking divine dragon, very angelic dragon. And then as the fight progresses, parts start breaking off, and it's like, oh, it's Black Dragon.
He's
So it had
Yeah.
big like angel and demon type themes, and just an incredibly cinematic fight. It had, it had its own Sapphire Star type moment going on. The part breaks, it flailing and ripping its wings and its arms out. I'm like, this is just fucking peak cinema right now. This is probably the coolest fight I've ever had in Monster Hunter. I love every second of this. So finding out that it was like, oh, you fought him. Not again, though. I was like, let me let me experience it again.
It was interesting because like we fought him and I was looking at the parts that you get at the end and I was like,
it's just Guardian
there's
parts.
not a single part from the actual boss. We're just getting like other Guardian parts. And
I don't get it, man.
by now,
That's probably my biggest disappointment with the game, to be honest.
by now, for the people that don't care about spoilers,
I mean, they shouldn't have clicked this
No,
video.
no.
It's too late. It's too late now.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they might be confused because they're like, what the hell are Guardians? Like, what's the deal? So the story, the big thing that I said not everybody's going to like about in the story is the fact that these are bioengineered monsters that were made.
Wyverians were bioengineering species to defend them.
They were bioengineering species to defend them, and they lost control. One of those was Arkfeld, the first one to get loose, but you also get like Guardian Rathalos, Guardian Fulgur.
Arkfeld wasn't the first to get loose. Zoshia destroyed them, and then later Arkfeld just kind of awakened and was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Peace out.
Yeah.
And dipped out. But Zoshia was the one that brought their civilization to ruin.
Yeah. And then he just
which then goes into the coolest fucking scene in the game. That bothered me. So leading up to Zoshia, they're talking and they're like, well, do we turn off the wormway? Do we turn off the worm? We should turn off the wormway. Or no, we shouldn't turn off the wormway. And the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, we kill it. And they just keep talking. And in my head, I'm like, we kill it. What the fuck's the problem? We kill it. And then so you're finally walking up and Nada's all like a tear in his eye, like, this is what my father would want. And then your hunter just straight puts out his hand and is like, I got this. And I'm like, let's fucking go beat the shit out of this thing.
Again,
that was the I am him moment. I was like, because see, I made my hunter, obviously I always make my first hunter look like me. And he has like he has the deeper voice like me. So we get up to it and that scene, he's just like, Nada, sit back. I'll take care of this. I was like, my man, let's fucking go.
So the wormway thing was something that the Wyverians of that place, which was a city called Wyveria, they created something called the Dragon Torch, which is basically infinite energy. Which again, this is very, very sci-fi stuff that these guys were doing. So they had infinite energy, and then they created this thing called the wormways, which kind of like spreads the energy throughout the whole eastern lands.
Yeah, funnels it all over.
And that's what causes like the inclemencies and all that stuff, and the seasons of plenty and all of that. So in the end, you're left with like the whole thing of like, oh, we have to destroy the Dragon Torch because otherwise it's going to go out of whack. A lot of people are going to die because Zoshia is like absorbing all of the power of the Dragon Torch or whatever. And that was the thing where Nata was like, oh, I have to destroy it because Nata has the Nata's little pendant can destroy.
The magical pendant.
Yeah. It can destroy the Dragon Torch. And so that's when you get to the end.
I'd be curious to see who comes back because the whole like Dragon Torch energy, I could easily see Safi Jiva working into that.
Yeah, that was the first thing that I even remember saying when we first saw the trailer for the it was the trailer that introduced the Ice Shard Cliffs, and you remember that Gemma goes and she says, "Oh, it's glowing. Why is it glowing?" And I was like, bioenergy, that's why it's an Ojiva. Look at it, it's blue. It's an Ojiva. Yeah. What do you mean? It's bioenergy.
I'm really interested because they've never brought back like mainline bosses, like your Safis. I mean, aside from Fatalis, but he's been, he's like the OG. But there's a lot. Like I could easily see Alatreon coming back.
I don't see
Safi
them
coming in here.
I don't see them bringing back monsters from Iceborne, like endgame monsters from Iceborne. I feel like they would either want to bring other ones that they haven't shown yet, or they would
Mazios.
Exactly. Gogmazios, which I never fought.
Bring
I never fought
in the oil dragon. Yeah, same. I've always seen him, and I'm like, bro, looks so fucking cool.
Yeah.
The biggest, actually, no, there's one other thing I'm incredibly disappointed in. Where the fuck is Legiacris?
Yes! Where is Legiacris, bro? Where is he?
And then they were like, our first monster update, Mizutsune. I don't give a fuck about Bubble Dragon, bro. Nobody, I don't know anybody that's like, I love Mizutsune. His set is usually cheeks.
Gaijin Hunter loves Mizutsune.
Well, he's a real life weeb, okay? Lives in Japan. Doesn't count. Most people,
what do you mean Gaijin Hunter doesn't count? What the fuck? That's my homie,
because
bro.
Mizutsune is literally the Japanese dragon. Of course, the white guy living in Japan is going to love that. No offense, but I mean, obviously, it's like a white guy in Japan that doesn't like cherry blossoms. They don't exist, okay? It's obvious he's going to like Mizutsune. I want Legiacris. I want my big thunder crocodile Leviathan to come back.
Yeah, I want Legiacris as well.
It's been and we just had Mizu. We just had Mizu in Sunbreak. We don't need Mizu again.
I even remember when I did the preview event, because you see stuff in trailers and it's one thing, but when you see it in actual gameplay, it's different. And when I saw Uthduna in the water, it just clicked. I was like, bro, you could just do this to Legiacris, and he can go into the water and do things and then come back out. He can shoot lightning or whatever. That's when it clicked for me. So maybe a title update. One might.
Honestly, we've had Zinogre and World, and then we had Zinogre and Rise, and if we get Zinogre a third time instead of fucking Laggy,
wasn't it like
as a lightning monster, I will lose my shit.
Wasn't it the most popular monster? I think it was, right? Yeah, it won the number one. But Nergigante won like 3 spots of the top 3 across the 3 regions.
All right, so let's break this down. Given there's no elders in this game, I
was very surprised that there were no elders, because the funny thing is people are going to think that I was lying to them, because whenever people would say, "Oh, there's not going to be any elders in Wilds," and I was like, "That's not what Capcom said. They said that compared to World, we're not focusing on Elder Dragons, whereas World had the Elder Crossing." At the time, I still didn't know whether or not there were Elder Dragons, because I hadn't finished the game.
I think Arkfeld could fuck up Nergigante.
Arkfeld's not an Elder Dragon, though.
I don't give a fuck, dude. Arkfeld got them chains. Nergi is getting some BDSM action, getting pinned down, and getting the life sucked out of him. It's over.
I don't know. Maybe it could. But yeah, I'm not gonna make that claim straight off the bat, because Nergigante eats Elder Dragons, bro. He eats them. Okay,
don't give a fuck. He's a scavenger. Little bitch. Shows up when enemies are half dead.
Damn! Just like straight up throwing your lot in with Arkfeld.
You know what? Hang on. I'm gonna boot the game up in the background. I am curious about this though. I want to pull up Arkfeld's stats, and I want to compare them to Nergi's stats for like a toe-to-toe size comparison.
Oh, you mean like his maximum size and all of that stuff?
Yeah.
But so let's talk about how we felt about high rank. So I will say the game was definitely way easier than I expected. I did not upgrade my armor until I finished the game. And I finished the game with a super half-baked set that it was a Nursilla chest, Chatacabra's boots, and I forget what the rest was, but it was pretty much like super low-level stuff, because I didn't really feel the need to go any higher. And I only started considering upgrading stuff when I went up against Tempered Arkfeld, and I got smashed. And I was like, oh, okay, time to upgrade. So I guess it's time to upgrade.
Yeah, right. I went in with, I still had my low rank Ray Dow set. That carried me for a very long time. And then right around the time I got up to Ebony Odegarin, I started getting chunked. Like, chunked to where like you take a hit, you need to sheath and heal. And I was like, maybe it's time. So I made Ebony Odegarin 4-piece for Burst 2. and then that was enough for me to just trounce the rest of the content.
Do you feel that we should have been forced to upgrade earlier? Because I definitely feel like we should have been forced to upgrade earlier.
No, I mean it felt very casual for sure. Like I said, the challenge I don't think that even came in until Tempereds, to be honest.
Yeah, and even for Tempereds, I think it was like the tier 2 Tempereds that kind of like started pushing me. Like I think the first time I felt a little bit of pushback was Shei Wu, which for those of you that again haven't gotten there yet, it's like another octopus looking dude. But he's made out of like trees or something.
You got beat up by Chu Wu?
Shei Wu.
Bro, Chu Wu was he's a punching bag. A literal punching bag.
Yeah, but he was every time he punched back, it hurt a lot. But I didn't get beat up. I still killed him.
He ran for his life.
I still killed him. Like the tempered version of him still got absolutely mauled.
So stats, it looks like Arkfeld is very, so I don't have crowns yet, but my Arkfeld sizes are 1666 to 1966 without a gold crown. Gold crown Nergis are 1626 to 2310. So Arkfeld and Nergi are basically comparable in size.
Yeah, so he's not bigger.
Good. Yeah, he's not bigger. They're equal. But he's got them big chains.
He does have the big chains. I still don't know if he'd mess him up because friggin' not Ruiner, just like regular Nergi and Ruiner regen. They regen. So there's that.
But so it's a question of, can Nergi regen faster than Arkfeld is sapping his bioenergy? Really?
I don't know.
I think the answer is no.
I don't know. But yeah, we had that. Again, I feel like we should have been forced to upgrade a little bit earlier for sure. That's the.
Well, do we want to? Since I have the game up, do we want to do a monster breakdown, run through the list, and like,
yeah, sure,
like 1 minute thoughts on the monsters? All right,
go ahead.
Chotacabra.
Cool starting monster. I don't have much else to say. Super easy. Maybe easier than Great Jagras.
I love him, honestly. Starting monster. I think he offers a lot of
his tutorial monster.
Very easy tells. Yeah, a lot of good tells to teach stuff. I would put him as my favorite starter monster. I love the little armored frog. I like him. All right. Chemitrice.
Love it. I love Chemitrice. Also has one of the best gun lances in the game. And just like a really fun, it's also just a big punching bag, but it's just a really fun punching bag. Dies so fast. Did you see the one that I sent you was like less than a minute to kill it?
No, he gets fucked up.
Poor guy. That poor chicken.
I consider Chemitrice is just big chicken. It's like when people are like, dinosaurs used to be birds. Chemitrice is like what the T-Rex actually was, and it just gets smashed.
It just gets
Poor
mauled.
Dude has no idea what's coming. He gets mauled. Let's see. Lalabarina.
The first time I killed it felt way easier than it was like a sub 5. First time I killed Lalabarina, I was shocked. I was like, how is this a sub 5? Like, what do you mean? I thought it was going to be hard, but yeah, I killed it super fast.
I overall like it. I like that the flower breaks. I also think it can be, depending on the weapon, it can be pretty annoying to fight. The way it like does that double prance every time it fucking moves. I'm like, stay still so I can break your shit. Stop fucking running.
Yeah, the annoying thing about Lalabarina is the same thing that Nursilla has, which is those skinny ass legs for me to land my Drake Auger in. It's like, whiff. Whiff. It's just like,
well, you gotta stab it and then just like aim it onto him. You gotta turn it.
Yeah, but she jumps around and stuff. It's very annoying. Yeah, but no, but it's a cool fight. It's definitely a really cool concept. I just wish it was harder, which is like a theme that we're probably going to see for a lot of monsters.
All of them. Kongala.
Kongalala is friggin' sweet. I love it. I love it.
I really like seeing him rotating through different mushrooms. Like, he's gonna blast you. Now you're filled with poop. Now he's gonna paralyze. Now he's gonna poison. I was like, okay, you gotta stop with this shit. Fall down. But updated Kongalala fight was good. I liked it here a lot more than GU for sure.
I love the move that he does with his belly, because it's not like in the other games where it kind of like stands still and then inflates and pushes you. It goes like midway through a combo. So like he's doing something, then he just kind of like pushes forward with the belly. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And the fact that he gets
Smash Bros combo.
yeah, and the fact that he gets the wound after farting. I think the poor guy's got hemorrhoids or something. He farts and he gets a wound.
I noticed that you're behind him. I'm like, bros, why is your ass vulnerable right now? Okay. Balahara.
Annoying, very annoying, because of the fact that he's very short, and so landing proper worm stake blasts is annoying on him. But interesting monster. Don't have a lot to say.
Yeah, I like him, but I would agree on the annoying.
He's the first one.
He's kind of cookie cutter though. He always goes back to his cave and then decides to sleep right under a massive boulder. And then when you wake him up, he climbs up the boulder and you shoot it and he dies. Like 8 out of my 10 kills that every time that happens.
He is the first monster, I think, that does the new guard move that you can get, which is when they're actively
the clash.
It's not, like a beam clash if you're blocking and you're like pushing forward.
Yeah, clash.
No, it's not a clash, because the clash is when you actually block and, you're struggling with the monster. Plenty of monsters do that. He can do that with his breath.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
You haven't seen that move? A lot of mobs have it. Like New Udra does it as well when he's doing like his little flame thing.
Most of the time I was getting blasted in the face because I was trying to get out an extra wyvern fire when he did that.
Yeah, but if you
having a lot.
If you block, and I think that certain weapons even have like specific moves for like advancing forward and trying to counter that or whatever. Yeah.
Doshiguma.
I like Doshiguma a lot. Because of the fact that my build relied on popping wounds, and Doshiguma gets so many wounds.
So many wounds.
It's like
I honestly,
just Drake augering all over the place.
I don't like Doshiguma. I feel like he has hard tells to me. I don't know. I feel like he has big pauses, and then he's like, I'm gonna stomp 4 times this time, and I'm like, stop this, sir, stop.
I need you to move. Can you move slightly more to the center? Like your face is getting like mega clipped off. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
It is like halfway off the frame.
All right. Uthduna.
I like Uthduna a lot, but I feel like his shielding mechanic doesn't really come into play as much as I would like. Because it's basically like hit the wings until he collects them back in, and then that's it. That's the mechanic. I expected there be more to it.
So I have very limited hunts on him. I have 5 hunts, 2 captures. I need to do more, but I feel like his hitboxes are a bit fucky at times. Like I feel like his hurt box starts early when he starts rolling.
No, I don't think so. I just think he has.
It might have just been.
I think he has when he goes up, he hurts you, and then when he comes back down, he hurts you again.
Yeah, well, because I was fighting with dual blades, and I'm like, oh, I evade through everything.
Adept evade, yeah.
Yeah, and I was getting popped by a lot of stuff. So I need to fight more of him. I like his fight. I like the way he weaves through the Scarlet Forest a lot.
I never landed the
cool experience.
The rock in the water though that you were talking about.
It's hard, dude. You got to do it really early.
Yeah. That's what I figured.
Rampompolo.
He gets so deflated, poor guy. I love seeing him so deflated. He looks like the blood-starved beast. He's got like the flaps coming down whenever you hit him.
I really like Rampompolo. I kind of put him in the same category as Chatacabra, but I like how he like does the little poisons around you, and then he gets angry and does like the big poison. So I would fight him with Lance, and then I was like, oh, your big poison's coming. Okay, power guard, time to charge up my vengeance strike, and I would just nail him every time with it.
I love the fact that he does little farts into the ground. I think that's a cool mechanic.
Yeah,
but yeah, I like Rampompolo a lot.
Ray Dow.
I think I've barely fought Ray Dow in the final version of the game. I've barely fought him
a bunch. I think he's one of the best monsters in this. I think he has a moveset that is readable but punishing. He has a nice one-shot potential if you don't get the fuck out of the way. You can punish his head after his blast, which I like. Get close to that head. It's a little risky.
It's very annoying to do with Drake Auger. It's very, very annoying to land that.
You gotta sidestep, Mr. Evade Extender, sidestep, and then follow it up.
I know. The thing about Ray Dow, I feel, is that I fought him so much in the beta that when I got to the game,
didn't fight him much here.
No, it's not about not fighting him much here. I'm just saying that when I got to the game, he's not really very challenging because I know all of his moves already.
Yeah, you know all his move sets. I liked Ray Dow a lot.
I think he's fun, but
Nursilla.
I love Nursilla. I love the little spiderlings. They're so cool. The fact that she's got little spiderlings that are walking around. Although they sabotage her fight. Because if she hits you with the sleep, the little spiderlings will wake you back up and you're good.
Yeah. Well, I like the redesign, but I think she's almost too easy. Like she'll web you and she'll try to like do her, here come my fangs. The second one's out. I'm going to give you a hug. And 9 times out of 10, I can just wiggle out of the web before it even connects.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, like I would have liked that web to lock me down a little bit more, make it more punishing. But I like her overall.
I wanted more verticality to her. Like I feel like her swing doesn't go as far as I'd like. I feel like in 4U she just did more stuff, but that could just be rose glasses. Yeah, I'm just like looking back because I still remember the first time I saw Nursilla web sling. I was like, what the hell? That's amazing. But I do like that she has that area that she goes under and whatnot. But again, I just wanted them to do more stuff with the verticality of Nursilla, I wish.
Hirabami.
They're so annoying.
I would say they're the least memorable monster in the game.
See, they're very memorable to me because, as everybody knows, I don't like using dung bombs. And so there's that one quest.
So you fought all 3?
There's a quest where they just give you 3 of them. And I was like, well, I'm not using dung bombs like a friggin' ape slinging poop. So I'm fighting all 3. And I fought all 3 of them at the same time. And I loved it because it was the first time in low rank that I was like, this is a challenge. Because I had to fight all 3 of them. And with
3 fucking monsters, yeah.
With the gun lance, they're very annoying to like dodge between because there's one of them up ahead and then the other one's off to the side and then the other one's behind you. And I was always like, I got to block here, do this, do that. But the really cool thing is whenever I'd get them close together, I'd be like, okay, flash pod. They all fall down. And I'm like, is that double wyvern fire hitting 3 targets at once? Ooh. And they would all just like start popping left, right, and center. Feels great.
IG, she just dies.
Yeah.
Like I'm flying and I'm like, no, you're not.
Don't care.
Like,
yeah.
Don't care. Get out of the air. So I would, she's just my least memorable. I've only fought her 5 times.
I killed it pretty often because the usually when they show up it's 3 of them and I'm like I'm not using poop so you're all gonna die. Yeah. It's that simple.
A Rurikhan.
A Rurikhan is really cool. I like him a lot. And I farmed him a little bit for his gun lance. And he does to me what those Shaguma did to you. I have a hard time reading him. Particularly the one where he does the elbow drop or whatever, and then he scrapes, and then he scrapes upward and gives you blast blight. That is the move that always gets me because I'm like, I go to block, but his hurt box doesn't reach your shield because it's super tight when he hits you with that.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I can stop blocking, and then he blasts me in the face every single time. He nails me every single time with that shit.
I fought him quite a bit because I made a couple of his weapons. I liked the fight overall. I feel the early stages where he's like trying to get his magma fists and it can't quite get it up and he just gets stuck in the ground. I'm like, you poor punching bag. Just smack you while you're stuck there. And then a lot of the times, like because I've fought him enough to know that, I just punish him to where he doesn't, like most times he won't even make it up to his big lava, or he'll do it and I'll just block. But I like his like whole fucking Beyblade spin explodey thing, and a Rurikhan's a fun fight. I think I enjoy him more than Rajang, to be honest.
I mean, he's also way easier than Rajang, so
just his move set's cooler. I think he has a lot of flashy moves.
No, I like the brutality of Rajang. I wanted to say one more thing about a Rurikhan, which is because you've been dominating him so hard. Maybe you haven't gotten this that often, but I love when he goes to those spots where he has like the stuff that he's hanging off from the roof.
Oh, and you shoot him down from it?
No, I don't shoot him down. He just like he goes up there and then he yeets himself on top of me. You can shoot him down. I didn't know that.
You could wyvern fire him while he's up there. He'll have a very bad time.
I haven't tried that, but he's got me a couple of times with moves from that because that's where
he's never got me with his. I saw him grab my palico and do the like scream in your face fire breath thing, but he's never done it to me.
He's never done it to me either. Interesting.
Yeah. All right, new Udra. First cephalopod since GU.
I have this very big pet peeve with New Udra, which is New Udra is the reason why I think Drake Augur doesn't count for chopping. I've never
you're trying to get the tentacles?
I've never chopped a single tentacle off of New Udra. It's weird because you know I like I said my whole build is about Drake Augur, so I'm making wounds and I'm popping them. And I will pop wounds left, right, and center on that guy, and I will never get the tentacles. And I'm just like, okay. I think that Drake Augur just doesn't do chop damage to break things, which is frustrating.
I'm fighting him. I usually break one, but I really want to try and get a hunt where I just cut tentacles. I don't even want to hit the face. I just want to focus on cutting tentacle. I want to get every tentacle cut off. I want to see if I can do that.
I mean, Joe did that. Could. You know that Joe did that in the recent stream. Yeah, he cut all of them.
It's like I love the fight though. I think it's really cool.
I was so happy when he chopped off every single one of them because he's just like running around. It's like with his tipless tentacles. Looks. I was saying, how's he gonna go home to his family now, Joe? Look at him. He's worthless.
His retreat hitbox is a little fucky. When he retreats, if you're like right up in his mouth, he'll just bring you along with him, and you can like attack the entire time he's running away.
Ooh.
He just pushes you wherever he's gonna go.
Oh, you know,
so like he took me away, and I just sat there with Charge Blade, just like smack, 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 and I'm like, this ain't gonna stop until you stop, buddy. Stop running. So that I would like to see that fixed up, but I think he's a really cool fight.
You want to know a funny thing that I did to him earlier today? I was running around in Sacred, and I don't know if you know, but the gun lance, you can do the whole cavalry charge with it.
Yeah.
And so I'm just running circles around him like,
Jesus Christ.
Still didn't chop off his tentacles.
I don't know if it has some secret thing, dude. Longsword cuts shit so fucking fast now.
Yeah, there might be like different modifiers. Like I struggled to chop tails as well. Like I would have to really focus.
I was doing like one Helmbreaker into the R2 follow-up, and that and just like building up my gauge, tails were coming off. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, if I want to break a tail, I need to like, okay, stop shelling or you're going to kill it. So I have to actively stop shelling to take off tails, and I have to really focus on it to really take off a tail. It's always been the case with gun lance. You got to focus a little bit more to chop.
The first in our Guardian tier, Guardian Doshiguma. I like him more than regular Doshiguma. I like his big explosive slams more when he doesn't seem as random to me.
I mean, I don't feel particularly different about him from regular Doshiguma. I barely notice the differences besides the extra.
Doshiguma, I've done 4. Guardian Doshiguma, I've done 12.
Yeah, I don't know how many of those I've fought, because what I needed for the armor that I was making was scales, Guardian scales or whatever.
Oh, so that's our next monster. Guardian Rathalos.
I like Guardian Rathalos a lot. See, he was the one that in low rank, he started beating me up. I was like, now finally, something's beating my ass. Okay, let's go.
I like him, but I don't know if there's enough about him that's different from regular Rathalos.
It's the explosions that he does with the wyvern. We haven't talked about wyvern milk yet.
Wyvern milk.
Wyvern milk.
Wyvern milk.
You want some of that wilk?
I had to go gather some wyvern milk from Rathalos.
No, but like I like Guardian Rathalos because I think his color scheme is really cool. I really like the crazy color scheme that he's got going. His gun lance looks friggin' badass. It was one of the first gun lances that I crafted when I got to the end of low rank, and I think it was the gun lance that Because I killed Arkfeld with that one, and then I crafted Arkfeld's gun lance. Yeah, that's what I did.
Jin Dahad.
Did you skip Ebony Odogaron?
Nope, he comes up next.
Oh, okay. Jin Dahad. I feel like his fight he's a little bit too scripted, I feel like.
But it's cinematic as fuck.
It is. It is very cinematic. You know that...
So I'm biased. I'll say this. I've been fighting him with dual blades, and the fucking Beyblades spin the wind down his back.
Okay, nice. I see exactly why you like Jin Dahad. A big long boy that you can just like. I'm Captain Levi, baby. Here I go.
It's so good.
Can you chop his tail?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can cut off his tail.
See, I don't get to experience that.
Let me let's see. His tail is severable. You can break all 3 of his ice plates.
I struggle to reach one of them. I think it's the one on the top back. On the top of the back.
You got to get them when they're knocked down.
Yeah, that's
so
that's
IG that fight's basically cheating because I'm breaking them before he's even knocked down.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then after that, I started fighting on dual blades, and so I would like do my knockdown and then dash in, and I'm just demon dancing and shattering this shit.
Interesting
I love that
thing.
Fight, though.
I only understood the mechanic of how you survive his big AoE on the high rank version, because that's when the tutorial message popped up for the first time. I was like, oh, yeah, that's how you avoid this. Because the first time I'm like, I don't know what am I gonna. It says hide out of line of sight, and I'm like, what line of sight? There's nothing to hide behind. Whatever. Boom, dead. I was like, oh, okay.
The first time it got me, I had already dropped all the rocks for damage. And then my palico was like, pull down a rock. And I'm like, there's no rocks to pull. and then I forced the transition, and I was like, all right, I'm saving a rock this time. That's a really fun one to SOS on, because you SOS and like it starts happening and you see like the panic in people's eyes, and you're like, you know, behind a rock, and you're like using the ping, like, come over here. And they're like, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm just going to sharpen my weapon. You're about to die. That's a fun SOS one for sure.
No, but I like the stages of the fight where he kind of like crawls on the walls and stuff. Like I always like those big fights. But he's like probably the only fight that we have kind of like that, more of a almost siege looking fight.
He's not capturable. Must be an elder dragon.
What do they say about him? He's a construct, right? I think they label him as a construct.
No, Leviathan.
Leviathan
that sits at the peak of Ice Shard Cliff's ecosystem, surrounds its massive form in cold temperatures. Every part is capable of powerful freezing attacks.
I had to farm him for his gem.
I love his wide gun lance. It looks so good. The visual on it, even if it's outclassed, it's so sexy looking.
I haven't crafted that one. Like I said, I critical pathed it. I'm gonna craft all of the gun lances on my
It has like a massive cannon, and then it has like 3 layers of that bladed armor on it. It just looks good. Looks very good. But moving on, Ebony Odogaron, Guardian Ebony Odogaron.
I don't know. I think
he's still a punching bag, honestly.
Yeah, he was in the ground all the time. I barely remember anything about his fight. It's just like, I think I fought him twice. I fought
the shit out of him.
I didn't.
I've got over 15 kills on him because I wanted his set, and that burst, baby. Got to get burst.
I haven't. Is burst really that good in this game?
Right now, I'd say it's the best in slot damage skill available.
Ooh. And I'm not even using it.
Especially. More so if you're using an elemental build, because it's going to boost both physical and element at the same time.
No, I think it'll actually work really great with Drake Augur because of the individual hits. Because Drake Augur is just like.
Burst is the new attack boost for, basically.
Okay.
You want burst? It's just good. It's just
I need to do that probably but the thing is, it's like I'm already shredding stuff so fast. If I add burst to it, it's gonna just like
more speed. All right, Shuwu.
We
talked about him briefly.
He's kind of.
I think he's.
Can you chop his limbs, his tentacles, or no?
Yes, 4 of them are severable.
Okay, because
2 in the front are breakable.
I never got that. I think he's cool. I think his moveset's a little bit unpredictable. I like the fact that he's got like all of the teeth under him. You know, like when he flips around. No, he flips around and he's got a big toothy mouth, like chuck full of teeth.
Oh yeah, I'm mixing them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we had, after our first octopus, you know, New Udra was such a cinematic experience that Shuwu felt like a punching bag by comparison. Like his health, I honestly think he has the lowest health of a late monster I've ever encountered. I think his health is lower than Rajang even, because he gets fucked up. Like my fastest hunts are Shuwu's usually. He's like an easy sub 3 for me.
Damn. Jesus.
I use ice a lot, and ice just ruins him.
Yeah, I haven't used too much elemental damage, so yeah.
He does not have a you don't have a good time. Obviously our flagship, Guardian Arkfeld.
I like Arkfeld a lot. I feel like he had moves in that fight that he didn't have in the beta, right?
So there's Arkfeld and there's Guardian Arkfeld, which it's weird that they get 2 separate entries, to be honest, because the fight's pretty much identical.
No, I think that the Guardian Ark.
Right.
But the thing is, you don't ever get to fight Guardian Arkfeld again, right?
Yeah, so that's 2 monsters you only fight once.
Yeah, but see, no, but the Guardian Arkfeld a separate entry from regular Arkfeld?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Crap.
Yeah, hunted 1. Regular Arkfeld, hunted 29, captured 27. Guardian Arkfeld, one time.
Yeah, see, I like the Guardian Arkfeld fight a lot. And like I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure that fight is different from regular Arkfeld. Like a lot of the stuff that he does is different.
That's the fight that I brought along the healing horn and I just spammed combos on, so I don't even remember the fight.
Jesus.
He just healed through everything he did and beat his ass.
Nah, he slapped me around a little bit. I think I might have carded once in that fight. I think I carded once in that fight, so yeah.
From there, Zoshia.
I'll say this. I like him more than regular Arkfeld. If I'm remembering
I need to go back
correctly.
and refight him to get a better look at his set, but I mean it's cool for a flagship for sure.
Yeah.
I like him as a flagship a lot. Zoshia
is amazing.
One of the coolest fights.
It is
one
amazing.
Of the coolest single fights I've ever had in Monster Hunter.
Zoshia is awesome. Zoshia is the actual final boss of low rank, I guess, is what we'd call it.
Yeah.
But
if he doesn't come back,
there's no way. There is no way.
I will fucking riot.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
The next time I visit Capcom, I will steal all of their Monster Hunter plushies and the Devil Joe sword. I'll be like, you're not Monster Hunter fans. Give me the sword.
Didn't they send you the loot crate?
I haven't seen them. I don't know if any US creators got them. It might have been a UK thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because sometimes UK will do different, or they might be, because we're still. It's weird to see how early we are. They might be sending something closer to launch. I'll ask Joe about it.
Yeah,
but Zoshia would speak.
You'd love. I was just saying because you said the plushies. Like this one comes in there. This little guy. Look at him.
Oh. Everyone's favorite little dickhead monster.
Oh, you don't like Yan Kut-Ku? Such a nice guy.
He's spazzy is all.
No, but
very spazzy.
You were saying
he's actually the next one. He's the next one on our list.
Oh, interesting. So Zoshia though, Zoshia. Both of us love them. I guess is where we're at. Yeah.
He's just so fucking cool.
Yeah, that's a cool fight. He's definitely coming back for us to eventually craft his armor because you can't craft his armor on the release version of the game. So Yan Kut-Ku, I love how colorful his fireballs are. They're so bright and orange.
I don't know. I've never liked Crazy Bird. I don't like Yangaruga. I don't like Yan Kut-Ku. I just don't like the Crazy Birds.
So let me tell you something about Yan Kut-Ku. You remember when we talked about dung bombs earlier?
Yeah.
Holy shit, did I have a bad time. Imagine 3 of them non-stops, like just bullying the crap.
Barraging you.
But you know what the fun thing was? Eventually they separated and they each went their separate way. And I was like, I'm going to get my vengeance on each and every one of you. I'm saving the quest target for last. I'm butchering all of the other ones.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad hunt. It's don't know. I feel like I spend a lot of time chasing them around because they're like blah 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 blah, and then they flop over, and I'm like, I want to punish you because you flopped, but I need to. You ran like 30 meters away. I need to put away my weapon and run over there, and then you're getting up and you're flopping again. I'm like, stay fucking still, man.
I
cool
like
fight.
them. I like them a lot. Yeah.
Saparos.
What?
I always say it wrong. Gypsaros.
Gypsaros?
Flashbird.
Gypsaros?
Gypsaros. Whatever. What do you think about Flashbird?
Again, this could be rose-tinted glasses for me, but I feel like we break his flasher way too quick, but it could just be that back then I was a complete noob lord and it would take me too long to break things. But I think we break his thing way too quick. I think he doesn't deal nearly enough damage on his wake-up attack, which a lot of people are saying, you're crazy, you're missing it. It's like, no, you're wrong. I'm sorry. He doesn't deal nearly enough damage. Like, you can just literally
one thing I haven't tested,
be there
when
at half health. You can be there at half health, carve, and then just like take a picture. For starters, there's the fact that it takes him so long to punish you, and the tell
does he
so
take damage
big.
during his pretend sleep?
I don't think he does because you don't see damage numbers.
Yeah.
I think he's just invincible.
Can you carve him during that?
Yeah,
I
you
usually
can.
just smack the shit out of him.
You can carve. You can get like 2 carves, I think, if you're fast enough. But the thing about him is, like, I think he's really cool. One of my favorite things about him is the tail attack. I don't know if that tail attack is new.
No,
the
tail attack comes out fast as fuck.
Yeah, that stretchy
that's
tail
deceptive.
attack.
I like that a lot.
I love that. But
there's been numerous call outs where I'm fighting him and I'm like, there's no fucking way that should have hit me. That shit's way too long. What the fuck?
Yeah, dude.
Or it's got the Elden Ring, the Nox Mace as a tail. He's like, no. Shit.
He hits you really far away. But again, the thing for me is the wake-up attack. It needed to deal more damage, especially for how telegraphed it is. You might as well scream, I'm gonna attack you! Careful! Here it comes! Yeah. And then eventually he hits you and you're like, that's it? Like that's your best shot? Like, and people are gonna be like, no, Rurikhan, you just know what you're doing, blah, blah. I want to remind you to the fact that I played through, I don't know, probably 70% of high rank in low rank gear, unupgraded low rank gear. And after, when I finally built my set, it was very early high rank monsters, and I didn't upgrade it until I finished high rank. Okay? I just want to point that out.
All right. Rathian.
They changed her whole sound package. They
changed her whole moveset.
No, the moveset's not that different.
There's new moves. I mean, she still has her double tail sweep.
Yeah.
And her run back and forth, but there's new moves. Both Rathian and Rathalos have new moves.
Yeah, they have a couple of new moves.
Moveset.
But it's not.
I'd like the changes to both those fights.
Yeah. The thing that threw me off was the sound. It's very alien to hear Rathian and not recognize the sound. I was like, Rathian doesn't sound like this. What do you mean? It's that moment where you realize just how ingrained every single roar is in your head.
I don't know if I noticed the sound.
That was literally the first thing I noticed. The moment that she roars, I was like, that's not a Rathian. What do you mean? That doesn't sound like Rathian at all. I was like, what the hell?
I got to check. I don't know.
I think even Rathalos sounds different, but not as different as Rathian. Rathian was just like very weird to me. And it's interesting that Rathian only shows up in high rank. That was very surprising.
Yeah.
I was like, oh damn, she only shows up in high rank. But that was cool. I liked fighting her. I fought her and Rathalos at the same time. And that's another thing. Something really cool that happened, which I don't know if it's related or not, but at a point I was farming Rathian because I needed something from her. And so I go and I kill a Rathian, and then I went back to base, and there was no Rathalos in the map when I killed the Rathian. And then suddenly I look at the map again, and there's a Rathalos, and he spawned right where the Rathian died, almost as if he just like, it's probably a coincidence, but it almost made it seem as like,
put some credence to that. I had a Rathian investigation I was doing where there were 2 Rathians, and I'd show up, I'd poop the one, I'd start fucking up the main one, And every investigation, about 3 minutes into the hunt, Rathalos would try and swoop into the rescue. He's like, "Who's hurting my bitches?" And I'm like, "You get poop. You get poop too. Get out of here. Go."
Yeah, like there might be something to that because I was so surprised because it was very sudden. There was no Rathalos in the map. Then I killed the Rathian, close map, do something, open map again. There's a Rathalos, and he's right on top of the Rathian. And I go there, and he's actually, it almost seems like he was doing something with okay, not that way, you freaks, okay? Like he was smelling it or something.
Rathalos and Rathians are mates. So,
yeah.
You know.
That makes sense.
All right. Fulgar Anjanath.
I need to tell you, you're off the frame again.
What? Hold up. Do you not Fulgar Anjanath?
No. You cowboy are off the frame. I'm sorry. It's again.
We're just lazy talking, and I'm leaning, bro.
Yeah, no,
all right, Anjanath. What do you think, Anjanath?
I was surprised that it's just introduced as a guardian because his color scheme matches guardian so well
already. Yeah,
it almost
looks the same.
It almost seems like the Fulgur Anjanath came from the construct, and he was able to like somehow, he was bioengineered, and then one of them got loose and ended up in the new world somehow. That almost seems like what happened to Fulgur Anjanath. But I don't know. I only fought him once, I think. I think I only fought him once.
I fought him about 8. I think he feels easier here than he did in Iceborne.
Yeah, I remember in Iceborne, he had like that one move where he just like really leans back and then just like cracks and just shreds everything. And I never saw that here. He just like got raffle stomped so fast. Yeah. So I don't know.
We talked about Rathalos with Rathian already. Is there anything about Rathios? Do we move Gravios?
I mean, since you brought up Rathalos, just real quick, I wanted to bring up the fact that both him and Rathian and Guardian Rathalos, they have a tendency to get fire in their mouths, which didn't happen as often in other games. Like they're doing stuff and then suddenly like, oh no, I got fire in my mouth and shoot really powerful fireballs. Like that was cool. But go ahead.
The build-up fireballs.
Yeah.
Gravios is our next.
So I said when we first saw Gravios and like coverage from mainstream media and stuff, I said that crack is a little bit fast. That's a little bit fast for that crack. Is all I'm saying. For the chest crack, it's a little bit fast. And people are like, nah, you're crazy. It's like, no. Okay, I broke that thing with one wyvern fire. Okay, one wyvern fire, not even from wide shelling, which is the most powerful wyvern fire, like one long wyvern fire, and I'm like, brah! It's like cracked instantly. I was like, oh, that's not, I might have hit it like once or twice with like a regular attack or something, nothing special. So I was very surprised. That's cracking a bit fast.
Yeah, I like the Gravios fight and how it's been updated, but I remember back in the day, like, Gravios, I hope you brought a hammer because you're going to bounce, and it doesn't feel like that anymore. I feel like I'm just slicing through his ass.
I bounced. It does bounce. It bounces quite a bit.
It can, but it doesn't feel like you're as likely here as you used to be. Maybe it was just the weapons I was using, but I feel like I didn't. I didn't have to prepare for it. I just walked in and beat his ass.
With the gun lance, I bounced quite a bit, but that's also because I was using the Gravios gun lance a lot of the times, and that thing's green sharpness. So it's like I'm bouncing off him with his own gun lance, like, bounce, bounce, just like bouncing. But yeah, there are other moves that you can do to fix that. The really cool thing is that his beam does the same thing that I talked about earlier, where it's like it's a sustained thing.
I gotta go fight some beam monsters with a shield and just try and block them more.
Yeah, because like you get the whole beam struggle thing going with his beam, which is pretty fun. I like that a lot.
Blaganga.
That poor Blaganga. You know what happened?
I think he's very underwhelming here. I think.
You know what happened to poor Blaganga? Poor Blaganga, I thought he dropped the ice freezers, and he didn't. Because I was trying to make his belt. And I was like, it says something freezer here. Blaganga probably dropped. So I just killed 10 of them in a row. Remember when I was sending you those times? The really fast times?
I did the same thing. I needed Blango pelt. And I was like, Blango pelt, Blaganga.
No, I wouldn't have made that mistake.
And I'm like, where's my Blango pelt? And then I realized when I killed one of his little buddies accidentally. Yeah, I was like, oh.
In my case.
8 hunts in a row.
In my case, it was the freezer sex. See, poor Blaganga just got wrong targeted twice by you and by me. I was
he's a
abusing
fucking
him
punching
so.
bag here.
Yeah, he is.
I
a
like
punching bag.
that he like burrows under and he pops up, but he's small. I think he should have been bigger.
I think he should have
like
been more threatening.
huge, but
like
yeah, he was just. It did not feel like a close to the end of the game high rank monster. I put him on par with like a Balahara at best.
Yeah,
He just gets bullied.
he gets absolutely bodied. Like I'm
Moving on to the big dogs though, Gore Magala.
Okay, so for starters, what a badass intro when Fabius goes in. These two dudes are like, "Oh, we'll protect you. Go in, sir." Blah blah. You never know what happens to those dudes. I guess they're fine. Would have been cool if they died.
Well, no, they're chilling at the next to the Melder.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, like,
survived.
I wanted to see what, because it almost seems like they're making the sacrificial play in that cutscene. They're like, you go through, sir. It's our turn to protect you. And Fabius looks like very hesitant, like he doesn't have a lot of faith in them to survive the two frenzied Nursillas. He's like, I don't know about this. I think you guys are going to die. Those two frenzied Nursillas that I'll kill in like one wormstake blast. It's like, oh no.
Frenzied. So did you also feel like frenzied monsters die incredibly fast?
They do. I don't even know what is the point of frenzied monsters. Like, what do we get? Because I haven't engaged with the systems.
I haven't fought a ton of them, but you get it's like a wormstone or something. You get some material off of them, but they just they drop. They just fucking drop.
Yeah, like they're so weak. Like the first time that I killed one was in the arena, which we'll talk about the arena as well.
Yeah,
but the first time I killed that, it was so fast. I was like, oh, it was probably like weakened, right? It was probably weakened, right?
I did I think it was I want to say a frenzied Cuckoo, and it was like a 234 kill. I was like,
yeah,
it's weird. Like, what happened here?
It's weird with the frenzied monsters, but Gore Magala himself. What a fight.
Oh, yeah.
Gore Magala is, in the previous podcast, I said there's a monster I haven't killed yet. It's tempered Gore Magala. You told me there's also a tempered Jin, the Had. I haven't gotten that one yet either. But Gore Magala wrecked me. And the interesting thing is, I think I saw today that the Gore Magala that I was trying to fight, which I have an investigation for him now, is just I need to upgrade my armor because I haven't upgraded it yet. And his investigation was 7 stars. Tempered Arkfeld is 8 stars.
He's the only 8-star I know of.
And it's like, well, I can kill Tempered Arkfeld really easy, but Gore Magala fucking bodies me. Tempered Gore honestly bodies me.
Going in, I was like, Gore is the final thing, because I feel like in Sunbreak he was kind of a pushover. You know, you're either fighting the Chaos version or Shaggy, and regular Gore was like, I'll beat you up for some parts to make their weapons, I guess. I don't need you. And here he was like, no. I am. Look at me. I'm the captain.
Yeah, he
proper terrifying monster fight.
He's beating.
I had an investigation worm where it would always be in this little fucking cave, and there was nowhere to move. And I'm like, I hate this place. You know, fuck it. And I would just run, and I'd bring him up to like the top of the cliff, and I'm like, all right, I got space. Let's do this.
I think that's one of the reasons why I carded 3 times, because I think that might have been that spot. Is it in the Ice Shard Cliffs?
You had a triple on him.
No, yeah, he's I think he might have been the first. No, the first one that I failed was Arkfeld. Tempered Arkfeld.
Ironically, the only quest fail I've had was also a tempered Gore, but I had some dude join the SOS with a bow, got carded, came back with a longsword, got carded, and then a third guy joined and came in and got carded, and I was just like, it's like, it was the review. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Go into the review Discord and be like, who the fuck was that? Who the fuck came in and ruined my investigation?
They're watching this podcast right now going like, shit, it was me.
So I was like, what was a pure G move though? The dude that came in and was like, fuck, I fucked up, and Carter that lost the quest. He was like, I got one I can post, and he had one of the like super reward ones, and I was like, let's go. I brought up a charge blade, beat the shit out of it. Was like, that more than makes up for it. Thank you, sir. Or not super, or a gem, because I was trying to farm a Gore gem to finish the set. And he was like, oh, I got a gem investigation. And I was like, let's fucking go.
No, but like the Gore Magala, like with me, it was like that tight nook that you're talking about. He just went there, and like an idiot, I was like, no, I'm gonna beat you there. It's like, no.
Yeah, Gore. I would say the only like tempered Gore, and probably depending on how over aggressive you get, tempered Jin Dahad would be the two fights that I would consider to be significant threats. Like overall, it's significantly easier compared to like what we had Endgame World. I think
I wouldn't expect Jin Dahad to be that hard.
It's because Jin a lot of times I'm gonna attack through your shit. I don't care. You're gonna start. So you're gonna start walking.
It.
Yeah. I'm just gonna attack your legs. Oh, you're moving. It hit me. Whatever. I'm back up. I'm attacking. And now it's like I'm just gonna attack, and he starts walking, and suddenly you lose like half of your health, and you're like, oh, and then you get frozen, and you're like, oh, and then he just looks at you, and you're like, good night.
please, sir. Please don't.
Yeah. Please not the ice breath. Not the ice breath, please. He had one. I was trying to block through it, and I tried to like block the ice hop, and I got frozen, and then I just got one shot for him. The freeze took me down to like about a fifth of my health, and then the follow-up attack just outright killed me. I was you don't fuck around.
I haven't seen the tempered version of him yet, but
if you just go to Ice Shard, Rest Till, and Clemency, it'll pop up. Pretty much guaranteed. And then obviously the only thing left is Arkfeld, which I don't remember the fight enough compared to Guardian Arc. Well, I remember Arkfeld plenty, but I don't remember what was different with Guardian. I overall like the Arkfeld fight. I abuse his grab a lot. I'll just let him grab me, and then I'll hit him in the face with a thing, and then go back to pounding him, and then he'll grab me again, and I'll slinger him in the face a second time and go back to pounding him. And I'm like, we can do this game all day, old man. Keep picking me up. It's not, the result's not going to change.
You can block his grab with guard up. I've been using the anything in your slinger
will break you out.
Yeah, I know.
Instantly.
We'll break you out of it. But Arkfeld has not been super hard. The first time that I failed him was because I was going in, oh yeah, I'm gonna go fight Temper Arkfeld, unupgraded, high rank armor from the lowest tier of monsters, and this rarity 6 gun lance. Let's go. And Arkfeld's really?
I've had basically full Guardian Arc gear with my Ardian Blast Charge Blade. And this man just runs for his life. He's like, stay away from me. And I'm like, give me more parts. Your gems are good fuel for the forge. I need to max these weapons. Get back here.
Yeah, he's not
his
super
parts,
hard.
They're good. They're good forge materials. And for whatever reason, every time I have a super investigation, he's usually one of the primary targets of it. So he's getting hunted way more than everything else.
So investigations is another thing. We briefly touched up on it just a little bit, but this time around, the way that it works,
I love it. I love it so much now.
Yeah. So the way that it works is like you can either go do your optional quests, which are always there in case the monster is not in the open world. But if the monster is in the open world, he's going to have additional rewards. Sometimes it'll be decorations that you can get. Other times it will be Artian pieces, which we'll talk about, which is a new new weapon crafting system that the game has for Artian weapons. And other times it might even be rewards specific to the monster. Like you will have quests that will straight up guarantee a gem for you, of which
or rare parts or common parts.
Yeah, or rare parts or common parts. Like the way that I got my Jin Dahad gem that I wanted was because at one point he showed up in my game and it was like, oh, if you kill me, you get my gem guaranteed 100%. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I go ahead and I save an investigation of him. So whenever I need his gem, I can just go ahead and get get that gem for 3 attempts at least. Because that's the way that it works. You pay points to generate an investigation of anything that is in your world, and basically it will copy that quest specifically with those rewards, and you get 3 uses out of it, which is really good. So whenever you have a quest that, oh, this is a really good quest, you copy that, and you get that investigation for 3 uses. And you can still go and do that quest, which it doesn't count towards the investigation.
So 4 hunts total of it.
You can get 4 hunts of anything that you see in your world. Yeah.
And then the big tip is anytime you're at your tent, if you rest and change the region, the monsters that are spawned in zones will swap around. So you can do that until a world spawns what you're looking for, and then fight it with bonus rewards
that
versus ever touching optionals.
That costs points.
Oh no, I only have 50,000. Whatever will I do?
Yeah, but it was something that I avoided doing because it almost feels like, I don't know, I like the idea of the passage of time.
Yeah,
but
no, I mean,
I'm
you
a
are.
weird,
It depends what I'm looking for. Like if I'm like, I need a Uthduna, I'm going to cycle it. I'm going to force, because inclemency always forces the apex to spawn.
Yeah.
100% of the time. And a lot of the time it'll be tempered too. So, tempered apex is usually a good chance at a gem. It took me like 3 cycles to force a tempered Uthduna to get the gem, or a tempered New Udra.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, let's go.
Yeah, but see, the reason I don't like doing that is because it's immersion. I'm weird. I'm not just about the grind.
No, I get it.
like
I mean,
aspects.
I'm trying to finish sets. So like,
Yeah, I get it.
Time is money here.
It would eventually, it probably will get to a point where I'm like, okay, let's cycle this, let's get it done. But on the 55 hours that I have, I was still just like, I really like the idea that time is passing and this is important, and I just pick and choose from the monsters that I have available to me, and if I need something, I just go to the optionals and I try to grab it through there, and then time passes and eventually stuff shows up that I can go and do.
Yeah.
I like doing it that way. I think it's pretty fun. But I love the system that they've made, because it just basically feels like permanent guiding lands. You're just kind of like permanently in the guiding lands, and you're just
world.
like roaming around. I very rarely do I even look at the quest counter, because I'm just like, no, my quest counter is the open world. I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go hunt
quest counter. Once you're done the optionals, that's it. New shit ain't popping up there. Now, given this is review, we're going to start getting event quests and whatnot.
Event quests and stuff, yeah.
I'll be doing all that. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what's kept me playing for so long, is even finishing all my handlets. Just the world constantly cycling with like new monsters for you to hunt and new shit to kill
and whatnot.
Yeah. It's just a general end game gameplay loop. It's very satisfying.
I do think that a lot of people are going to end up complaining, and I'm not saying it's not valid, over the fact that it's just 29 monsters, and like we established earlier, 2 of those monsters you only fight once. So it's actually more like 27 monsters that are in the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to, for sure. And this is something I plan on addressing in my review, but like, I know it's this is the launch game, but I think a thing that people should keep in mind is when you're buying Monster Hunter, you're not just getting the launch product, you're going to get all of the title updates.
Yeah.
And, just with the other games, that's where it really begins to shine. So it's like, so right now, what we're getting is
how many locales do we even have? Is it 5 or 6? 5. I think it's 5. Yeah.
Well, 6 if you include the arena.
The arena. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is another thing. So, there's no traditional arena anymore. Like, that's gone.
Yeah. It's just a random arena where what's in there that can't run away that I can kill fast. Cool.
Yeah, it's just an arena that is there, and you get quests to do stuff there, but it's not like
monsters just wander into it, which is funny. I'm like, oh, you decided to come into Ass Beat Central. Today you're gonna find out.
I've never really gotten anything that I wanted to kill there, though. It's just been like,
I have. Yeah, I had a tempered Ark wander in there. I'm like, you're fucking candy. Come here, son.
Yeah, it's like I haven't gotten a single tempered in there, but it might be because my hunter rank's not high enough.
Honestly, my favorite use for it has been finding something you like to hunt when it pops up in there, save it as an investigation, and then I'll use that as 3 speed test runs for like build variants. Like if you're like, oh, I want to try, do I like burst on this, or do I want my stamina skills, my evade extender? Because it's easily to replicate the results there.
I haven't played a whole lot in there. Is there like a Dragonator as well?
I don't believe so. I know there's the gate.
Yeah, there's the gate,
and they can knock down the pillars. But I usually just go in. I mean, honestly, shit dies so fast now. I don't know if I need a Dragonator.
Yeah, that's the thing. Stuff does die way, way fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, the end game cycle is going to be, you're farming for decorations, which you can get from just killing normal monsters. Tempered monsters usually give you more decorations because you get bonus stuff there. And tempered monsters also come in different tiers, which give you the Artian materials, which is a special system to do something which you described kind of like Safi weapons, which I didn't engage in because the way that gunlance shelling works is there's normal, and then there's slightly weak, and then there's slightly strong. And all of the Artian gun lances apparently are normal. So I'm like, oh, okay. But then again, I'm gonna craft those anyways, but I'm gonna save my main save to craft those.
So decos, I love decos now. Decos are the deco grind is not nearly as bad as it was. By the time I was endgame,
which, by the way, I want to say, I said since the beginning, if we get RNG decos, it's going to be better than Base World. And everybody was like, nah, it's going to be exactly like Base World. And I'm like, you understand that with the title updates in Iceborne, they drastically changed the system. Okay? It was not nearly as bad.
So decos are split into offensive and defensive decorations. Your offensive can only go into your weapon, defensive only into armor. So you can't have, Wex crit boost, crit I7, maximize. You can't just like max stack shit anymore. You can't. On top of that, a lot of skills have been nerfed. To get 4% attack, you need attack 5 versus attack 4.
Critical boost is now a 5-point skill.
Yeah, 5-point skill for 40%. Wex was also nerfed. Wex is kind of dookie now, to be honest, because it's 30%, 20% on wounds. I'm not striking wounds. I'm popping wounds. So yeah, I'm not as big a fan of Wex as I was. Max Might is pretty goat. 30% affinity for 3. That's really good. But anyway, so
you
skills.
Need the stamina stuff, otherwise don't.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of weapons don't. Longsword doesn't matter. Sword and shield doesn't matter. So anyway, but I really like the deco system. You can freely craft any level 1 deco. Any level 1 deco. Attack, guard, artillery, doesn't matter. You can craft it. Once you reach HR 100, you can freely craft any level 2 deco. And then the good decos, your level 3s, like artillery 3, that's going to be RNG. I'd imagine we'll get those as craftable in master rank. And then the really good shit is the level 3 hybrids. Like, bro, I have one that's what is it? It's like artillery 3 guard 1. I'm like, that's a sexy fucking deco.
I have load shells 2 handicraft.
I have full razor sharp handicraft.
Disgusting.
I know. So many that are just, I mean, I have ones nasty. That are like max fire and have 3 point of crit element. I'm like, I don't mind if I do. This isn't a crit build, but I'll gladly take some. So just tons and tons of like the hybrid decos. You're just like, how more optimized? Like, for gun lance, and because most of the gun lance is the ones we like that we're going to have guard. But in theory, you could get like artillery offensive guard, load shells offensive guard, and then slap in like guard up so offensive guard. And then you'd have a gun lance that has max artillery, max guard up, max offensive guard, and load shells. Like, raw.
You keep saying those things, and I'm getting a little bit harder every time.
Yeah. I love, and the thing is, like I said, I'm at 110 hours. There is not a deco that I'm like, oh, I really need this one deco to make my build work. The only instance of that was burst. Burst took a while to get. I had one and I was like, I just need one more burst. And while I was missing it, I just slapped a Wex in for some extra crit. Yeah. So like, yeah, the build could have been a little better, but it was fine. And then I finally got it and I'm like, cool, my shit's complete. But the overall deco economy, hands down, better than World. I like it more than what we had with Rise. I love the deco economy here.
Yeah, it feels, I definitely didn't want it. I didn't want the charm nonsense again, like, because that was the rates on that were absolutely astronomical. So I prefer this.
Like it's good enough here. Like I remember End of Iceborne, I straight up was like, oh, where's that deco mod at? I'm just gonna buy the decos I want. At 110 hours, I don't even feel like that would allow me to improve my builds that much with the decos I have. Like they are very generous this time around with decos, and especially with like the rarity. It doesn't feel like you're constantly chasing after something anymore.
Yeah, I was very surprised that like I wasn't even trying to get decos, so I just had like random decos in my gun lances, and then because of the way that the rewards pop up, I'm not even looking at what decos I'm getting, and then suddenly I'm like, okay, let's rearrange my items a little bit, and I'm like, oh, I have an artillery 2 deco. What?
Yeah.
And then I have a regular artillery deco. And I have load shells too. It's like, what? I have all these things? I was surprised.
I'm not sure. This is a guess. But I think certain deco rates are tied to certain monsters as well. And the reason I say this is when I was in my hunt for the burst deco, I fought Arkfeld a shit ton. And it took, like I said, I have over 50 hunts on it. I got my burst deco finally. But you want to know what I also have fighting Arkfeld 50 times? I have like 9 Flayer decos. What armor set comes with Flayer?
Very interesting. Yeah, it is the
Arkfeld.
Wait, no, it's Guardian Arkfeld that comes with Flayer.
Yeah, but the point being, Flayer is an Arkfeld thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And he kept fucking dropping it. And I'm like, is this just like the weirdest coincidence I've ever experienced? Or is there a monster out there that, you know, if I farm Odegarin into the dirt, am I going to get more burst? If I farm New Udra into the dirt, am I going to get more resentment? I don't know. But
I mean, I did farm.
I got it's one of those things I got to test more.
I did farm quite a few Gravios. And now I have these artilleries and load shells and stuff. So I don't know. Because his Gunlance is like goated. I really like Gravios' Gunlance.
It might just be, you know, just a weird coincidence. But that was something I wanted. I was like, I'd love the idea of like, oh, you want attack, you know, you want Wex. You need to farm Wrath. Wrath has a higher innate chance of dropping Wex or something.
Yeah, monsters dropping.
Like that might be the case.
Monsters dropping
decos associated with their armor sets.
Based with their armor sets. Again, guys, this is just a theory. A monster hunter theory. We have no idea if that's the case or not. Still very early days. Like we're recording this way before the release. So yeah. What about
you know, what? Talk about Ardian
weapons? I mean, you talk about them. I haven't crafted a single one of the Ardian weapons because of the gun stuff.
So explaining Ardian is basically our end game min max grind. We have rank rarity 6, 7, and 8. In game, you're obviously doing rarity 8. I honestly love the Ardian system. So the idea behind Ardian is you're going to have parts that have an Ardian bonus of either attack or affinity. These are like your base parts.
You get these from tempered monsters, by the way, and only tempered monsters.
Yeah. So a base Ardian weapon is going to start as 195 affinity. That's just what it comes with. And by the way, these are I've turned off bloated values, so this is a true raw. Yeah. So 190 and 5. If I go, 3 attack parts, it's going to be 2055. If I go 3 affinity parts, it's going to be 190-20. I can mix and match them. But each part also has an element on it. And if you match 2 elements, the weapon will inherit that element or status. So if I go, attack water, and then dragon affinity, I would have a weapon that's 200 attack, 10 affinity with some water element. If I also match in a third water, that water element gets boosted an additional amount. And that's just the base weapon. They come base with 3 level 3 deco slots and a little bit of white sharpness. So they're very competitive weapons out the gate. But then we can take ore, pour ore into these weapons, and get a random upgrade, including more sharpness, more attack, more affinity, or more element. The sharpness upgrade in particular is the equivalent of 3 points of handicraft, which is insane. The attack is worth 5, the affinity is worth 5, the element I believe is 30, but that might vary depending on weapon. Things like bow guns, instead of sharpness, they can get capacity up on them, so you can increase your clip size. And then the best thing about it is you make this, I'm in the process of making a God charge blade. So I'm rolling 3 blast parts for it. And then after that, I'm putting upgrades into it. And the most recent one I got was attack, sharpness, or it was attack, affinity, element. And I'm like, the next time I get 3 parts, I dismantle that, break it down, and all of the materials I spent to upgrade it get fully refunded so that I can just max out a new one as soon as I have 3 new blast parts to pour into it. Which is so nice to me.
It's an interesting system. It's just a shame that I can't modify shelling values, but that's the Gunlance thing, which it is what it is. But I'm going to be making probably a bunch of charge blades on that at least, because elemental charge blade sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun from our conversation from the previous podcast.
They are going to be very, very good. Lord was running some LE charge blades, and he was posting, I think it was like a sub 3 Gravios with it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, elemental damage looking kind of fucking spicy right now.
Yeah, I like the fact that elemental damage works. It was one of the questions that I did to them in the interview, and he said, we're going to make it work, but we're going to make it not be the only thing that works. And I was like, that's fair. So long as it works.
Some sets that are... Well, so the one thing with Ardian weapons that I think is good to get clear is there is no reason for a pure raw build anymore. Like if you were to take attack and then dragon fire ice, you're just going to get a weapon that's 205 attack. If you were to take a weapon or 3 attack fire, you're still going to get the same 205 attack, but you're going to have a bunch of free fire.
You mean there's no reason for raw on Artian?
Correct. On Ardian weapons, there's no non-elemental boost. There's nothing in the game right now, at least, that benefits you from going pure raw.
There is a skill that gives you additional non-elemental damage, but that doesn't matter. It just means that
we were testing it. It doesn't seem to work right now.
Oh, okay.
if it does work, the values are being hidden. We were looking at damage on the dummy. We were looking at the sheet. There was 0 change at all with that set bonus.
Interesting.
Which doesn't make sense. I tested it. I believe Rage Gaming was also testing it. Lord was testing it. So we had like a bunch of people that were just like, the math ain't mathin'.
What about sets, since we're on the topic of sets? Because I remember this is a conversation that we had during the review period where it's like...
Sets are...
limited.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
Disappointing. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
This is why when we were talking in the previous podcast, there's a part where I said like, the end game's a little bit limited. This is why, because you're not really going to be making, at least on first glance from what you and I talked about, probably not going to make in too many different sets. Like when I got to the end, I was like, oh, one of the best sets that I can make is just straight up Guardian Arkfeld.
5 sets. That's all I need.
Yeah, my thing was Guardian Arkfeld because I looked at it and like I said, I wanted to make a build that was all about popping Drake Augur.
Popping wounds, yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, this one,
amazing.
Flayer increases the not increases it. It makes me pop.
It makes it easier to create wounds, and you get a fat, chunky fucking heal when you break one.
Yeah, and you get a heal. So I was like, yeah, of course, this makes perfect sense. So I just want at least 4-piece Guardian Arkfeld. So, and not to mention that it's got good slots too. So
yeah, two thoughts to this. One, I do think the game is easy enough to where you don't need those end game sets. You can really just run whatever fucking armor you want and experiment, and you'll do fine. But I think people are always going to gravitate towards what's the most powerful. It's just the nature of gamers gaming games. Yeah. And to that extent, the Guardian Arkfeld Slet with Flayer is top tier, comfiest armor in the game. Tons of skills on it, plenty of deco slots. You heal when you break a wound, which is a core mechanic of the game. You make wounds easier. No reason to not have it.
The biggest thing about that set, though, is I don't think it's going to be nearly as good in multiplayer. It's a very good solo set.
Like I said, multiple people can pop the same wound, though.
Yeah, but I don't know. Because, like, when I went into the multiplayer hunt, I instantly noticed that, like, oh, somebody popped the wound. I didn't get the wound, so I'm wasting a bunch of...
Even then, more wounds and more wounds being broken results in more staggers, which results in more lockdown, which results in faster hunts.
Yeah. I'm just saying that, like, I would probably want a different set if I'm playing multiplayer. I don't think I would want Flayer for multiplayer.
The only other sets that I considered Ray Dow for latent power. Kind of a iffy activation condition, but if you have 4-piece Ray Dow, latent power lasts 3.5 minutes, which is more than enough to finish a hunt.
Yes, pretty much.
So
but I mean, wouldn't it trigger at like 5? Oh no, because it also triggers once you reach a certain damage threshold.
Damage, yeah.
So you just eat damage and then pop latent power and rip.
Yeah. Goro Magala's set, I made both alpha and beta pieces for that. The alpha pieces get Master Mounter, which is ridiculous. I get 4 to 5 mounts per hunt with IG with Master Mounter. Yeah, it's insane.
That's crazy. Usually I get like my 1 mount and I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, the beta set gets scale layering, where if you're low health, your stamina reduction is like cut by half. That set also comes innate with like some constitution and some evade window. So like dual blade and bow sets, match made in heaven using Goro Magala.
Yeah.
Anything that's a super stamina intensive weapon, Gore Magala is going to be great. You also get, as long as you have antivirus, when you overcome the Gore, you get free raw and 15 affinity, which is just a nice little sprinkle on top for just wearing the armor. Udra Greaves, 2 points burst, a 1 point burst, level 3 deco, so effectively 2 points burst. I think that's going to be a staple. That's the Yang Garuga legs of this game because of how good burst is. And a couple Oda Garen pieces because burst. And that was it. Oda Garen, new Udra Greaves, Gore, Arkfeld, and then if you want to be spicy, the latent power set. And that's really all you need. Most of the other stuff, I haven't messed with a new Udra Counter-Strike Resentment build. There might be something there, like allowing yourself to get smacked by smaller attacks to get big, meaty follow-ups. That might be good.
Does Counter-Strike work with blocks? Because it just says knocked back. You can get knocked back while blocking, technically speaking.
That's the thing, is it's not even a fucking knockback. You need to get hit. You know how like the dummy has like knockback and then strong knockback?
Yeah.
It needs to be a strong knockback to even qualify for that bonus.
And you can't block it.
No, you need to get knocked on your ass. However, for your on the note of blocking, the Arkfeld set with Element Absorb and Convert Element, which is like Blast if it was Dragon, which is pretty cool. Both of those will proc off of perfect blocks. So for Sword and Shield, you can perfect block and you're just getting this nasty fucking element boost and slicing and dicing shit. Like I've hit the dragon cap with it on most weapons. Going Convert Element, Absorb Element, Coalescence. Like, you know, your elemental damage turns orange. You can't have any more of this. And it's pretty fucking good.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of like there's a lot of cool stuff. It's just realistically, you have like 5 sets done and you're like, well, especially since decos, you know, your weapon decos, your things like your artillery, your guard, your load shells, your power prolonger, you know, the stuff that focus, the stuff that makes your weapon effective, those are weapon decos. So realistically, you could make, you know, 4-piece arc, 4-piece guardian arc, 1-piece Nudra, and then you have a Flayer 5 burst 5 set that you could run on every fucking weapon if you wanted. Because you're just going to slot in your weapon decos, which is...
That's the thing.
It is disappointing.
And then the other thing is, if you are trying to get Artian weapons, right? You want to get the rarity 8 Artian weapons. So what does that mean? You're hunting down Tempered Gore, Tempered Arkfeld, and I'm assuming Tempered Jin the Had?
All the apexes.
Wait, all the apexes? So Raydao would count as well? Oh, okay. So that extends it a little bit more. Raydao with Duna.
Duna, New Udra.
Okay. It's just I haven't seen those tempered in my game then. Okay. So and all of those give you rarity 8 parts then.
Yeah, tempered apexes are considered rarity 8.
Okay, because for some reason I thought, okay, so I need to be doing Arkveld. What's the other one?
I mean, let me boot up to confirm, but like I'm pretty sure I have a tempered New Udra right now that offers rarity 8s. I'll look real fast while we're talking.
Because I remember that when I was trying to look for it, I was like, it's always these last 3 ones that we were talking about: Gore, Arkfeld, and Jin the Had. But like I said, I just recently got there, so I'm still getting to grips with the thing. In case people are wondering, Rurikhan, why don't you have like 300 hours? I critical pathed it because I'm going to be replaying the whole thing on stream, and my family has been sabotaging all of my time. So yes, it's been rough.
I took the opposite approach. I did everything I possibly could. My stream playthrough is going to be
critical
low rank campaign.
Yeah.
I'm not even critical path, low rank. As soon as low rank is done, I'm going to be like, okay, best final boss ever has been defeated. Let's go to the real save. And I'm hopping over to my main dude that has all my farming.
Yeah, no, because I want to do it slower on stream as well. Like I'm probably going to be streaming this for a very, very, very long time.
Oh yeah, I mean, I am too. I'm just going to be doing. I'm going to be spamming SOS hunts for the final boss so I can experience it again.
That's one way of doing it, I guess.
But I mean, overall, I do. So despite the lack of, and I shouldn't even say lack, because like I said, you don't have to have Flayer Burst Gore Magala sets. You don't. You could realistically go in with a fucking Saparos or whatever you called him set and be fine. Gypsaros. Gypsa suck these nuts. All right, investigation. Tempered gore drops them. Tempered, yeah, because I got tempered Ray Dow, tempered Jindahad. So it's the stars. 7-star and above quests. You will get
So Ray Dow is also one of them?
Yes, Ray Dow,
Okay,
all the apexes.
Okay. Then that because like I thought we had a world situation where it's like, okay, there's 3 monsters that are tier 3 and
No,
but no, it's just I haven't gotten the right
more,
tempereds to spawn.
More granular than that. 7-star and 8-star quests are going to drop the high-end decos and the high-end Ardians. 6-star quests, so like a tempered Shuwu, that will drop the high-end decos, but the rarity 7 Ardians.
Yeah, which you can, by the way, you can fuse those back to eventually get more rarity 8s. You can like upgrade them at the melder
dump them all.
thing. Yeah, you dump those and you get more rarity 8s. So it's not like even when you're hunting lower tier monsters, not like you're wasting your time. You can still get materials out of those.
I have a tempered Jindahad, Nuudra, Uthduna, and Ray Dow. I have all 4 of them saved in my investigations, along with tempered Gore and tempered Ark. I got my farmers.
So
here, let me grab a, just to give, since this is the spoiler cast anyway. So the biggest ones, you got to go through some side quests, and once you do, you unlock double hunts, and those are your money makers.
I haven't unlocked those yet.
Yeah, you got to go through the double hunt quests, but I'm going to put one in chat if you want to drop it in the video, just to give people an idea of what they have to look forward to. Like this one is you're fighting Fire Monkey and Tempered Arkfeld, and you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rank 8 Ardian parts, 3 high-end armor decos, and 4 high-end weapon decos. So those are like your fatties. Those are the investigations where you're like, this gonna pay good.
Yeah.
That's what we've been doing. The people that are in the review Discord, we got to the end and it was like, got a multi-hunt, and like everyone that at HR 100 is just like the SOS fills instantly. And we've just been, this shit's been on farm status, dude.
Yeah. I mean, that's to be expected because like we even discussed, it's not super hard. So it is one of those things that feels more like a starter experience. I think it is going to be fantastic for absolutely brand new players, but like I mentioned in the previous one, I do feel like some of the more veteran players, depending on the number of weapons that you play, you're going to be like, oh, I wish there was a little bit more meat in the bones here. So you're going to be waiting for title updates and stuff like that, which I do think
I don't know if it's better to call it a hope or a theory, but I think they made it more casual to lure in a newer audience. And then I think with the master rank expansion that's going to be inevitable, I think we'll see difficulty revert closer to what it was with World and Iceborne.
I certainly hope so, because like
where it's like, all right, you've been playing the game, you know how it works. Welcome to the big leagues, kid. We're not underhand pitching anymore.
I certainly hope so. I hope that is the case because, like I said, I do feel, especially with the Palico and the Sacred, like we talked about, I do feel like those make it really, really easy. With the exception of like some of the later monsters, those are still a little bit tough until you get like your armor fully upgraded and stuff like that, which I haven't done because I'm lazy. But yeah, that is the way. But ultimately, I still think it's a phenomenal friggin' game. And just
I love that.
The open world,
like I said, you don't
the
play
open world
110
hunting, the open world hunting experience is just so cool, and the hunting action, which is the actual moves that you're doing. Again, I only played one weapon, but the moves that you are doing with this weapon just feel so friggin' phenomenal. I love it. The impact, the clashes, I don't get to do offsets, but every time that I've seen people do an offset, I'm like, oh, it's so cool. I wish I could do offsets too. But it's friggin' badass. It's Monster Hunter. But I don't really know if we have anything else to bring up at this point. Talked about all the monsters, all the weapons in the previous
monsters,
one.
Ardians, final boss, Nada being whiny.
Nada is not that whiny. I don't think he's
just
that
like
whiny.
Me, for real. He's just like me.
Still with that.
Nada, sit down, bro. I'm a hunter now. I can do it. Like
He's not a hunter. He's a hunter apprentice. These are two very different things.
Well, you know what would be cool though is if they do like a time skip with the master rank and Nada's like all grown up and he's like, Giga Chat all of a sudden.
Imagine a Giga.
It's not gonna happen.
Chatted Nata.
It's gonna.
I don't think that's.
I could see him. I could see him in a future game. Him coming back the same way they brought back.
You know one of the things
Gemma
that
and the Admiral guy.
Yeah.
Not Admiral. You know what I'm talking about though.
Fabius. One of the things that I really miss is the gathering hub. Us not having a gathering hub anymore.
No, I'm like, no gather. Well, but I mean, because we have link parties, and then there's also environment links, so you can actually just explore the world with people. So they kind of just erase the need of it.
I think that the gathering hub basically becomes the pop-up camps, but I've barely interacted with pop-up camps because Sacred's just so useful. Yeah. You just like, why would you care about pop-up camps? Just get on Sacred, press up, D-pad, boom, done. The pop-up camps just means when you cart, you just press up D-pad on Sacred and you get there a little bit faster if you have a camp that's close to a boss. That's it. I've set up camps
I like
once
them a lot
and I never touched them again.
There's one that's right next to a spot where I get one of the rare fish that you need, the fishing quest line. And this fucker took me probably 45 minutes to an hour to get.
Fishing is harder.
Fishing. It's not. So the controls have changed. So you can't. In the past, you would just jig a little bit. You'd just hit down. Jigging, they don't give a shit about. The second you reel, going up and down, or if you're rotating the stick fast enough, they fucking beeline for it. But you have to reel to get their attention. Because I did that. I was like, the fish aren't fucking coming. And I jig it like this and past their eyes, and they're just like. And then the split second I went up, down, and reel to pinch, they were like, boom. I'm like, holy shit, y'all like the reel now, don't you?
Yeah.
I struggle with that.
I've only fished a little bit. I think I've gotten up to the golden fish. I haven't done more than that. But it is fun.
The big kahunas, the rare ones. Caught all my endemic life.
That's
crazy.
I
was hunting. I would get done recording. I'd put it up in bed and I'd be like, it's time to fish until I fall asleep.
No, I'm saving all of that for streams, all of that discovery, all of that crazy stuff.
I don't think my stream wants to watch me fish for 45 minutes.
Mine does. 100%. They watched me build a PC the other day, dude.
Dude, people like that. I built a PC on stream before. People were like, this is so cool. I'm like, basically Legos.
Yeah, it is Legos.
The 6-pin goes in the 6-pin slot. That's all it is.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, that's Monsanto Wilds. There will be more content. Cowboy's got his Let's Play going. He's got a bunch of guides probably already up. I need to get to working on my guides. Hopefully by the time this video goes up, I will have some already on the channel. Maybe. I don't know. Life's a struggle.
So this is my high rank guide. I'm currently learning about it. Here's an excerpt from Cowboy's video that I'll include on this part covering Ardians.
Just like reapply. I'll do a reaction to your high rank guide.
That's a good, informative.
That's a really good tip.
I'm glad we got these tips, chat.
Good job.
Blur stats reactions. So funny.
Oh god. Anyway, that is going to be it for this podcast. It might feel a little bit shorter because we recorded back to back, and technically speaking, this is like 3.5 hours of recording actually. So it might seem shorter, but that's because we split it in half. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification icon. There's links to Cowboy stuff in the description. We'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.
Adios.